Welcome to Southern Maryland Sports Journal. I'm your host, Travis Thomas, with my main man, Dave Owens, WUSA Channel 9. What's up, man? Welcome back.
Man, it's always great to catch up with you.
You know, it's becoming tradition between us now. Training camp, getting some predictions.
I know, man. The predictions are here. I can predict this. It's going to be hot.
Well, at the beginning of camp, it started out wet and soggy, and now apparently it's turned into you-know-what out here.
Yeah, it's going to it's hot. It's hot. Let's just say that. It's going from wet to hot, just like that, man. It's about 110 degrees. This is training camp.
Yes.
And with this kind of weather, we know it's training camp.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into training camp.
Okay.
Bunch of storylines, obviously, as it always is at Redskins camp. New head coach in Jay Gruden. New weapon now for RG3 and Deshaun Jackson. Maybe a new attitude we see out of RG3. Break it down, sort of put a bow on training camp for me.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. First of all, you have a new coach, and how will Jay Gruden not only structure this camp, but I think it'll be interesting to see how he works with these veteran players. This is no ordinary job, Travis. I mean, the Redskins, it's one of the, I think, big-time, highlighted, spotlighted jobs in all of the NFL. And so when you become the coach here, I mean, all of a sudden you're a rock star. And they're giving the keys to the Corvette, so to speak, to a rookie. How he does this, we shall see. It's one thing to be offensive coordinator. I think it's another thing to be the man, the head coach, putting your paw prints, your footprints on everything. That's going to be interesting. How will RG3 respond in this year 3? It's a critical year for him. Let's face it. The year 1, he was up here. Year 2, he was down there. He's got to come somewhere in between this year, and he's got to leave people, I think, after week 3 thinking we've got the right guy. If he doesn't have that good of a year, all of a sudden you turn around and you say, where do we go from here? So that's a huge storyline as well. I also think, like you say, the chemistry with guys like Deshaun Jackson, that's going to be critical. And these guys are pros. They know how to do it, but there's a lot of weapons all of a sudden on that offensive football team. How do you mix all those guys in and make them and keep them happy? So it'll be interesting to see how that works out.
What do you expect to see from Jay Gruden? It seemed to me with Shanahan, they didn't quite know what to do with RG3. Now, some of it obviously was injury based because in year 2 you couldn't do as many of the option run things that you did in year 1. What do you expect out of Jay Gruden? Do you kind of see a mix of run pass? Do you expect more RG3 in the pocket? What do you sort of expect in year 1 from Jay Gruden?
I think you're going to see more RG3 in the pocket. I think you have to. I mean, I think as you start to move this thing forward now into year 3, all of this dancing outside of the pocket, it's great for the splash plays, it's great for the highlight reels, but you want this guy to be your quarterback for the next 10, 12 years. I think the way you do that is he's got to be in the pocket, and he's got to learn how to manipulate defenses better. He didn't do that very well last year. I mean, injuries aside, when you looked at him, I thought he was a little bit indecisive at times. He's got to be better at that. Now, you can't take away the guy's legs. That's going to, I think, stretch out some plays and give him some opportunities to do some things that some quarterbacks just can't do. That's a great thing. But if this guy never runs another 76-yard touchdown like he did against the Vikings in year 1, I'm okay with that, and I think a lot of Redskins fans will be okay with that. You want to see this guy manipulating defenses down the field. That's how you win in the NFL, no doubt about that.
Let me ask you about Deshaun Jackson. Now, to me, it doesn't seem like there's a bunch of size. There's not a lot of size at wide receiver, but certainly plenty of speed. What do you expect from Deshaun? How does he fit into the offense? Where do you sort of see in the Redskins, utilizing him the most?
Yeah, I think they want to utilize him the same way that the Eagles did in this sense. He is not, listen, this guy has got, in a league full of fast guys, he's one of the fastest. He's got some stuff that you just can't teach, but he can also go across the middle. He's proven that. He does a lot of those deep out routes and things of that nature because he scares the bejesus out of DBs. They're on their heels, hightailing it the other way. He can stop on a dime and give you that 10 to 15-yard out. I think you'll see that. I think you'll see him on reverses. Heck, maybe even some special teams every once in a while in those special moments. But I think that they're going to try to use him similar to the way that the Eagles did. I like your point, though, about size. They don't have that 6'3", 6'4" wide receiver. But you know what? You ask the question, do you need that person? I'll tell you what, Pierre Garçon on one side, Deshaun Jackson on the other, Roberts at the slot. Pretty doggone good, trio of wide receivers.
All right, D.O., how about the D? London Fletcher out. Where's the leadership? What do you expect? I do think it seems as though the defense obviously is younger, faster. What do you sort of expect from the defense? We heard D'Angelo Hall earlier say they don't want to be the weak link. Right. Do you sort of see that? And what can we expect from the defenses?
Well, they got to play better than they did last year. I mean, you can start breaking down numbers. The bottom line is the eyeball test told us they weren't getting it done last year. There were times when they were ran on at will. I think they gave up too many big plays in the pass game as well. And let's face it, this group, it's a passing league in the NFL now. You're not looking for a defense to be Baltimore Ravens-esque 2001 where you hold teams to 7 to 8 points a game. But, you got to be tough. You just can't give up as many big plays as they did a year ago. I think it starts with the pass rush. We've been asking for the last couple of years, hey, when are those outside linebackers going to start to wreak havoc on a consistent basis? They haven't done it. Now, they've had some moments, no doubt about that, but they've got to be better. Brian Orakpo has said so. He says this is a year he's going to take that next step. I think he's going to have to do that. I think if they play better, all of a sudden that secondary, which has got some question marks, all of a sudden they look better because nothing covers them up more than a pass rush.
How about Jay Gruden? What do you expect overall? We talked, obviously, offensively. He has an offensive background coming from Cincinnati as offensive coordinator, but now he's a head guy. He oversees everything. Year one, what can we sort of expect from Jay Gruden? It seems like on paper this could be a playoff team, especially in the NFC East, which we'll get to in a minute. But Jay Gruden, year one, what are some realistic expectations?
I think realistic expectations 8-8, in that area. But I think, you bring up such a great point, Travis. You never know how a guy is going to make the transition from coordinator, where he's not the CEO, to head coach, where he is the CEO. We're not going to ask him. They're not going to be asking him to call play. Yeah, he's certainly going to be, have his footprints on the game plan. But how does he handle people? How does he handle relationships? How does he handle the first time something happens in a game, someone says something post-game, and then all of a sudden, he's the guy that's got to stand up in front of the camera and say the right things to keep the boat afloat. The great coaches know how to do that. Damage control, if you will, is the word they like to use. So that's going to be interesting. We don't know that about Jay yet, and that's, I guess, the $4 million, $5 million question, and that's yet to be known. So we'll see.
All right, we're looking right now at the fancy graphic that I created of the NFC East standings of last season. Let's get into it. This was our big thing last season. We went back and forth on it, but you turned out to be pretty good on it. So give me the predictions this season for the NFC East. What do you expect?
I'm going to go Eagles because I think they've got, a quarterback playing pretty well right now. Nick Foles, I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the division, but I think he's playing pretty doggone well. I think they're a team with confidence. So I think you have to put them at the top right now. Every one of these teams, though, they have question marks. But if you had to, after the Eagles, because they've got LaShawn McCoy, of course, but after the Eagles, the Giants are sort of in there as well. I think the Giants, Redskins, and Cowboys are all very much, right there, 7-9, 8-8, 9-7. And I don't think the Eagles are that far from that either. I think this is a division, Travis, that is wide open. But if you want to ask me and put me on the spot, I'll say Eagles, I'll say Giants, I'll say Redskins, I'll say Cowboys.
Wow. Well, at least you got the Cowboys in the basement this season.
People around here won't like me for that. Yeah, no doubt about that. They don't like me for that. But it's going to be a toss-up, man. It's wide open.
Appreciate it, man. Always appreciate it.
Pleasure to catch up, man.
You got an early Super Bowl prediction while we out here?
Well, my goodness gracious.
Something I can hold you to, and I could call you later in the season.
Hold me to. I'm going to go 49ers this year. I think 49ers from the NFC, maybe they'll jump up over Seattle, although Seattle's going to be tough to beat. But you know this, just because you won last year doesn't mean you're going to win it this year. I mean, that NFC West is absolutely brutal. Like the 49ers coming out of the NFC. AFC, people, it's always the sexy pick, if you will, to go New England. I think their run is done, if you want my opinion. So you got to say Denver is a team that's going to be in the mix as well. But I'm going to go 49ers.
All right, San Fran, Denver. I'm holding you to. I'm going to call you back to the show later this season.
I'm probably going to be wrong. So I'm probably going to be wrong. We'll see, man.
All right, my big brother, Dave Owens, WUSA Channel 9, Travis Thomas, Southern Maryland Sports Journal. Thanks for watching exclusively on MetroCast Channel 10.
Changing times brings changing needs. That's why, for your convenience, Booth's Heating and Air have extended their service hours to 10 hours a day, Monday through Saturday, at regular service rates. Through rigorous training classes and courteous business practices, Booth's technicians always go above and beyond to provide you with award-winning customer service that you can trust. Booth's Heating and Air, serving the Southern Maryland area since 1993.